The future belongs to a very different kind of person with a very different kind of mind. Creators and empathizers, pattern recognizers and meaning makers. This quote may sound like a new revelation, but this is exactly the type of person you would have met over 500 years ago during the Renaissance. The Renaissance period was a time of invention. It was a time of innovation and creativity. In fact, the word Renaissance comes from the French verb renaître, meaning to revive, and the noun naissance, meaning birth. It was a rebirth of humanity, where human potential was not only valued, it was honored. Now, during this period, between the 14th and 17th century, the leaders of this time not only disrupted the status quo and thought beyond the medieval box, they actually had a diverse set of skills across multiple talent areas, multiple disciplines. We all know the quintessential Renaissance leader was Leonardo da Vinci. We know him as the famous painter of the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, but he was more than just a painter. He was also a scientist. That's what his hobby was. In fact, he kept extensive notebooks of drawings of the human anatomy, of designs of bridges, war machines, flying machines, and this is what he did in his pastime. Another leader, Michelangelo. We all know him as the famous sculptor of the David. But he was more than just a sculptor. He was an architect, an artist, a poet. Benjamin Franklin helped create the Declaration of Independence in America. But he was also more than a politician and a diplomat. He was a scientist, an inventor, and a writer. Now, all of these Renaissance leaders were not just jacks of all trade that dabbled in a few things. They were masters of many, and they were revered for the breadth and depth of their expertise. You know, back then, they weren't labeled as having attention deficit or ADD. They weren't labeled as having a lack of focus or direction. They were recognized as polymaths. A polymath is an individual that has skills across multiple diverse areas. So imagine, what if these Renaissance leaders were here today in your organization? How might they contribute? In fact, what if Leonardo da Vinci walked into your office tomorrow for a job interview? What would that look like? Let's see.